The Shepnaz podcast begins now.
You're listening to the Shepnaz podcast, a podcast by Shepherd Church. Everything we do here is to connect our community in a meaningful relationship with Christ, and we're expecting great things. My name's Joey. I'm the host of this podcast, and today we have a special conversation with Pastor Tim and two members from Faith Fellowship Church in Johnstown, Mima and Judy, here to talk to us about FaithCare, the food pantry ministry of Faith Fellowship Church. We thought Tim would be the perfect person to interview as he's taken on a new role as the interim campus pastor at Johnstown's Faith Fellowship Church, as we have our strategic partnership with them. So, enjoyed this conversation between the three of them as they talk about Faith Fellowship Church and the food pantry.
Well, hey, my name's Tim Swanson. I'm one of the pastors here at Shepherd Church the Nazarene, and I'm also wearing a second hat right now as the interim campus pastor at Faith Fellowship, which is a church in the Johnstown area that we have a strategic partnership with. And on the podcast today, we've got a couple of ladies that are part of the leadership team at Faith Fellowship. But in particular, we're going to have them share today about a special outreach that they're a part of at Faith Fellowship, and that is their food bank. And so I want to welcome Judy Hodge and Mima Webb to the podcast today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you and tell you a little bit about them. So Judy, would you start us off?
Sure. I'm Judy Hodge. I've been going to Faith Fellowship for 11 years now. Wonderful church. And I've been with the food pantry for, I believe, over 6 years. Just a great church, great place to be. Love it being involved. Did you want some personal stuff?
Sure.
Okay. I'm married, have 4 children, 5 grandchildren. Very blessed. Been a Christian 59 years now. And the life has been good, really good for me.
Great. Well, welcome. Mima?
I'm Mima Webb. I have been with Faith Fellowship for about 6 years, and I started volunteering at the food bank almost immediately. Like Tim said, I'm a leader, and I'm part of the Faith Fellowship staff, office staff. And I'm widowed with 1 child and 1 grandchild. And life has been pretty good to me.
Well, welcome. It's great to have both of you with us. As we think about, we all just came from the food bank just a few minutes ago. I know today's Thursday, and that's the day that you guys serve the community at the food bank. Why don't you start by telling us just a little bit of history about the food bank?
Well, it started with 2 of our parishioners just delivering food boxes. Mm-hmm. And it started out with 3 families. Mm-hmm. It grew into a bunch. And now we're serving 37 families a week. And they moved from downtown Johnstown to the east side of town. They moved on up to the east side, I should say. And our building is an old lumber building.
And it just continues to grow. I know you just added a couple of freezers recently. You've got
yep.
How many freezers and
we have 2 refrigerators.
2 refrigerators and 5 freezers.
5 freezers.
Yeah. Yeah. So
all 5 freezers are jam-packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been really blessed. They started delivering boxes in January of 2014 and found the space on Main Street and moved in January of 15.
Okay.
And in 3 months' time, they had outgrown this narrow space on Main Street. So we had the opportunity to move to Pratt Street, where it's located now. And at one point in time, we used to do over 50 families, 50 to 60. Mm-hmm. And then COVID came along, but we're building back up again, and we have these wonderful people coming in every week, and we're very happy to be able to serve them.
That's great.
Well, even through COVID, we didn't shut down.
Oh, no.
No. We created the boxes for the people. Mm-hmm. They pulled in, we put a number on their car, the guys delivered them. So we still served during the pandemic.
Sure. That's great. Tell me, what does a typical day look like when you're serving on a Thursday? For somebody that had never been there, what does that look like?
Well, she and I get there at about 8 o'clock, and we do a lot of prep work. Have to check the freezers, temps, things like that. People start drifting in, our volunteers, and 9 o'clock usually the truck comes from the Licking County Food Pantry. And we unload that. We usually have 1 or 2 skids of dry goods, cans, packaged goods, things like that, and usually 2 skids of fresh fruits and vegetables. We get everything sorted, put away. We have prayer at 10 till 10, and at 10 o'clock we open. We have a waiting room that people come in, take numbers, and then we call them by their numbers, serve them, and then there's the packing up at the end of the day, and we're usually done by about 12:30, 1 o'clock.
That's great. Where does the food come from? I know you said the food bank there in Licking County, but I think you also get it from some other places and local businesses. How are you collaborating with some of those folks?
Oh, we get day-old bread from Kroger's. And the day that their meat expires, they flash freeze it, and then they give that to us. And any dry goods like crackers and that they have, they will give to us. Trillium Farms brings us 90 dozen eggs anytime I call them. Yeah, do you know what 90 dozen eggs look like?
Solid gold.
Yeah, right now. And then we have a couple of churches that help support us. The one which is Christian Endeavor in Newark. They are wonderful. They bring up once a month a bunch of canned goods, dry goods,
Milk.
sweets, and milk. And then we have a church in New Albany that a 14-year-old girl started a program where she collects, and then she'll call us. And if her parents can't bring her to us, we go to her.
Good.
We also get just random, we have a lady that comes in every week with a lot of bread. And we had, at one point in time, a man who backed a trailer in, and we were working adopt a child at the time, and someone was supposed to make arrangements to have it unloaded, but he had 4,100 pounds of dry goods and a bad back. So we pretty much unloaded it, but it was wonderful. 4,100 pounds. It was we just had it stacked everywhere, but
That's
it was
amazing.
a wonderful problem.
We laugh about that now because we're climbing through that trailer, pulling out canned goods and everything else.
Each month, our church gathers for an intentional time of prayer. Ignite happens on the first Tuesday of every month. We begin with expectant worship and then move into a time of prayer led by Pastor Rob. March 7th is the next Ignite from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Plus, we've even got programming for your kids. We'll see you here at Shepherd on March 7th for Ignite.
Maybe you've been hanging around Shepherd Church community for a while, or even just a short bit. But have you become a member yet? Join us on Wednesday evening, March 8th at 6:30 p.m. to find out about church membership. In this class, you will learn all about our church, what we believe, and what church membership means. If you're ready to take this step, email podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know that you'd like to sign up, or check the box on the connection card.
We want to get to know you. Each month, we've got an opportunity. If you're new around here, you're invited to Pizza with the Pastors at Massey's Pizza in Gahanna. The next one happens Monday, March 20th. You can RSVP by emailing Pastor Rob at rpaul@shepnaz.org. We're looking forward to seeing you and your family there.
I know it was special today when I was there at the food bank, and when I first got there, we were doing the setup between 9 and 10. We realized that we didn't have much in the way of bread or pastries and that kind of thing. And so we thought we'd have to get some things out of the freezer maybe, or just go without. And all of a sudden, this lady pulls up from another food bank and said, we had an overabundance and we just wanted to share this with you as well. And so the next thing you know, that lower shelf is just packed with stuff. Right. And it was just a neat way for God to provide through someone else, another food bank that allowed others in Johnstown to be able to enjoy the benefits. Yeah.
The other food bank in Johnstown, it's kind of an independent one. We have built up a relationship with them to the fact that we give them stuff when they need it. If they have stuff that we are low on, we help each other out.
That's great. In addition to providing food, is there anything else that you provide there at the food bank as you're interacting with clients as they come in?
Well, some of them are in dire straits, and so we can talk. We pray with them. We try to put them together with agencies that might be able to help. We do have access to coats and some things, that we might be able to provide them, clothing, things like that. But for us, the big deal is building the relationship and being able to pray with them and let our light shine so that, they might accept the Lord too.
That's great. Absolutely. That's a blessing. Well, let me ask you this. How can we be praying for the FaithCare Food Bank, and what is your greatest need?
Milk. Milk is hard to come by.
Yeah.
As far as prayer, just for our volunteers, we have such faithful, wonderful volunteers. Pray for them that they'll still, carry the torch for the pantry and still come and for the people. They have so many needs, a lot of them that we never know about. But pray for them and that we all can continue on this journey, that we'll be able to serve the way Jesus served.
Well, I know it was a blessing to be able to serve today, and I got a chance to meet someone who I know at one point had been someone who was a client who came for food, but then has now stayed and wants to serve others, and that's pretty special to be able to see people that want to pay it forward and to be a part of serving others in that way. So, is there anything else that you'd like to share with folks today before we
could tell a little
wrap things
silly
up?
thing.
Go ahead.
We had a gentleman call me one day. He left a message at the office, and Teresa gave it to me and said, "You need to call this guy. He needs some community service." But he sounds normal. So I called him, and he did need some community service. I said, "Yeah, we'll take you in." That was, a year and a half ago, and he's still with us. He loves it. He comes until he goes on his African safari. Well,
that's pretty special. Again, being able to pay it forward and even beyond whatever his required time was to be able to have some community service hours, and gave him an opportunity to serve and to minister to others.
Well, and he's a good guy. He stood up in our senior citizens meeting a couple weeks ago and put a good plug in for FaithCare.
Well, that's great.
And out of that, we had one woman come in, which was older woman that helped us last week. And I think she felt that it was a little bit too much for her, but at least it brought somebody in, and she saw what we were doing.
Okay.
Also, to anyone who might be listening to this at some point in time that lives in the area that needs help, we can take anyone in Licking County.
Okay.
And it's very easy. They just show us ID and 2 forms of ID, and we put them on the computer, and they can go to any food bank in the county. Ours is kind of special because a lot of the food banks do not have fresh fruits and vegetables, and we get usually 2 skids in a week. So people are very grateful for that. And also, if someone is, getting in a bad way that's never been that way before, we always tell them there's no judgment here. People come in shy and embarrassed, and it's not something they want to do, but we let them know immediately there's absolutely no judgment. Who knows? We might be in the same situation at some point in time in our lives. So if there's anyone hearing this and feel like they have need of it in Licking County, please come to us.
Well, please tell them the address for the FaithCare Food Bank.
It's 140 East Pratt Street, Johnstown.
140 East Pratt Street in Johnstown. Well, good. Well, Mima and Judy, it's been great to have you guys with us. I thank you for sharing, and I thank you for serving the community and for making a difference.
Thank you.
for
We
having
love it.
us.
You
Yes.
bet.
That's going to take care of today's episode of the Shepnaz Podcast. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe wherever you find your audio, and please leave us a nice 5-star review. We're thankful for Pastor Tim, for Judy, and for Mima for coming in and talking to us about the food pantry ministry at Faith Fellowship Church in Johnstown. We hope that you'll join us in prayer to see what's next for Faith Fellowship as we continue our strategic partnership. Don't forget that you can find out what's going on here at Shepherd on our website at shepnaz.org, through our app, our various social media pages, and you can also email us at podcast@shepnaz.org. I'm thankful for you listening. My name's Joey. Have a great rest of your day.
This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.